Okay, so now we're recording. So welcome again. I'm Ellen Carey, and this is Molly Riley. And we're going to be showing you all sorts of Google tricks. And there are 3 URLs on the bookmark that I passed out. When we post this online, we'll include those URLs, links to those URLs too. Those websites give you an expansion of some of the things that we're going to talk about and some additional tricks. And so you don't feel like you have to write everything down that we talk about. There will be a way to get to most of those things on other websites. So let's see. First of all, I'm curious how many of you have used advanced search in Google before? Just a couple. Okay. You guys are in for a treat. You may notice there used to be a little link to advanced search over to the right of the search screen. It was really tiny, so people often overlooked it, and now it's not there at all. But there are ways to do advanced search tricks within the search screen here, and I'll also show you how to get to that advanced search screen. For those of you who have used it before, it would give you sort of a list of ways that you could limit your results, and you still can get to that page, so I will show that. And throughout what we're showing today, oops, let me get my cursor in the right place. We will find a few things that Google calls Easter eggs, or we call Easter eggs about Google. Fun little tricks. Google has a sense of humor. If you type in certain things, this one is askew. You can see the screen is sort of tilting. We're going to probably come across a few of those as we go along. Did any of you see the Let It Snow one last December? You type in Let It Snow, and snowflakes would start coming down on your screen. And you could move your mouse, and it was like you're brushing off a windshield that had snow on it. So those are called Easter eggs. Fun little tricks. So a couple things that I want to emphasize before we get started. One is that these are going to help you target your search results, these tricks, but you still need to evaluate the websites that you find, obviously. It doesn't guarantee that you're only going to get excellent information. It just means that you're going to be doing a more targeted search for specifically what you want. And the other thing I wanted to point out is you can see right now that I'm logged in with my Pipeline account. Now that we all have Gmail accounts through Pipeline, and the college is going to be moving completely to Gmail, you'll often be logged in when you do a Google search. And so that has a few implications for your searching. It means that Google knows you and is going to be targeting search results towards your habits, towards what you've looked for in the past. And so the results that I get when I'm demonstrating might be different from the results that you get. So there's a couple things you can do. One is if you're in Chrome browser and you go to the File menu, you can open an incognito window. This, I did some testing, I didn't realize this, but this still remembers my search history, but it's not going to include whatever I do right now in my existing search history. So if I want to sit down with my 12-year-old niece and help her find information on Katy Perry, then I can do that in an incognito window, and it's not going to be entered into sort of my habits. I'm not going to start getting tons of results for Katy Perry next time I go and search for something that I'm interested in. So that's one thing you can do. You can also, from the settings page, oops, let me just, sorry, go to Google. And, oh, I'm actually going to log out. So I'm incognito even though I was still logged in. I'm also going to log out. It's taking a long time to log me out. But from the settings within Google, I can also disable customizations based on my history. Okay, that's not where I wanted to go, but that's okay. I'll go back to Google. There we go. So once I do a search, I'll show you how to get into the settings for Google search and adjust things in the future. So I wanted to start with a few really quick, fast answers kind of things, and then some of the more advanced search tools. So some of you may have done these things before. I want to know how many hours are there in a leap year. So I'm going to do 360 6 days times 24 hours. And what comes up first is the calculator result, Google Calculator. If you click on More About Calculator, it's going to give you, you can do a search within this little tool. You can do all sorts of fancy mathematical stuff that I'm not going to demonstrate now, but you can just type that into a regular Google search box, and if it recognizes it as an equation, it will give you the calculator result as the top. That's not someone else's website that Google's finding. That's something that Google embeds into their search engine. Another thing I can do similar, it also is the calculator, I can get conversions. So I want to send some images by email to my friend, and she's told me that her email can only get 5 megabytes worth of attachments, and I don't, all my images are in kilobytes. I don't know what that means, so 5 megabytes in kilobytes. And the calculator tells me how many that is right there. Another one, this is one of my favorites. I've been using this for years, and it works a little bit differently now than it used to. I can do definitions, so I want to know the definition for olfactory, and Google actually has a dictionary built in. It used to be you would do this, define : olfactory, and you would get websites that had definitions in them. Now you get this Google's own definition up at the top. It's a little mysterious where that comes from. I'd have to look into that more. If I click on more info,
you have to put in the colon?
You have to put in the colon. So define : and the word. And if I click on more info, this is the kind of result list that you used to get when you did this in Google. A list of web definitions from different websites. And this is a little less mysterious because it has the URL telling me exactly where this definition came from. So another good example of the point at which you might want to evaluate where you're getting the information and if it's a site you trust. But I love this, the WordNet Web at Princeton usually comes up at the top. So that's just one other tool.
Okay, there you did. Okay.
Did you have a question?
You just put the word in and it got
You know, I guess it's showing it that way because I had originally typed in define olfactory, and then I clicked on more info, so it's going into their dictionary definition of it that includes these web definitions.
Okay.
So that's why it's only showing olfactory up
I could read my
there.
browsing history all the time. Does it still save stuff when I'm searching?
If you're, it'll save stuff from today forward. You know, like if you're, yeah, you'd have to continuously delete it.
Yeah, I do all the time. So there, it won't track it, right?
Right, I believe that's correct. So a couple other things. Another built-in thing that Google has if you have questions about certain kinds of medication. Oops. First you have to spell it right. Or not, because it'll give you suggestions. Sorry. Ibuprofen is what I'm getting at. Here we go. If Google recognizes the term as a medication, it comes up with the National Library of Medicine, National Institute of Health government entry for that medication. So you can click easily on side effects, how to take it, precautions, all that sort of stuff. You may have discovered that already if you've done some Google searching for medications. Other things, this was one that was new to me. I want to go from LAX to Istanbul. And it's going to give me flights. The first 3 results that you see are ads, but right here is the Google entry with the schedule of nonstop flights. Only 2. We better hurry. We want to get on one of those. But if I want to look at all the flights to Istanbul from anywhere, I can click on that, and it's an amazingly exhaustive list. Show all nonstop routes to Istanbul. So where they're originating from and what time they leave.
Can I ask a question about
Yeah.
ads? Because that seems to be something that's changed in Google. And,
Mhm.
and so can we just assume the first three things are always ads?
Not
It's
necessarily.
not as clearly delineated as it used to be.
It's a little harder to see, I think, on the screen you're looking at, although when I look at my screen, it's not so easy to see either. There is a background to this ad. It says ads really teeny here. It used to say sponsored links. Now it says ads. There is a slightly different color background. Everything on the right is an ad. You may get 1 or 2 or 3 or sometimes no ads up at the top. So you just have to look carefully at.
It's pretty hard to see. They've changed that.
Yeah.
You can't really tell anymore.
Yeah, it's challenging.
It will only show ads if there's a keyword that's been purchased for that.
Right.
So if nobody's purchased the keyword, then there won't be any ads.
And the number of ads can
And that's
vary
like-
too.
okay.
Well,
Yeah.
if you search your name,
Oh,
probably nobody's bought your name as a keyword.
that's probably true.
Yeah, you never know.
Non-ad, you just had a non-ad info flights to Istanbul or something? I never saw that.
I haven't tried that, but I bet it would still have ads show. I think the best strategy is just to really look at the results and make sure that you can distinguish between which are the ads and which aren't. Look at the background.
You can turn
Or-
it off
You can. How do you do that?
with a plugin.
Oh, okay. You can ask Kenley afterwards for the plugin that will help you turn off your
But I
ads.
like the text ads because sometimes they're very valuable. Sometimes you might get something in an ad that you would not think of.
Sometimes you do. I actually, this is no joke, I actually got an ad once that said, global warming, buy it on eBay. Okay. So I'm going to show you another quick fast thing, and then we'll do some of the more advanced searching. This is one that I love. I just discovered this. I have an app on my iPhone that tells me when the sun sets. So, and it also tells me when high tide and low tide is, so I can see, am I going to have time to walk on the beach after work before the sun sets? And you can actually type that into Google, sunset, Santa Barbara, and it gives me not only the time, but exactly how many hours from now that is. So I can, if I leave here right as soon as we're done, I can go have a 2-hour walk on the beach before the sun sets. I'd have to go somewhere else to find out if it's low tide or not, but that's another cool trick. So advanced search operators. I will show you now, actually, from the bottom of any search results page, there is a link to the advanced search. And this is what those of you who have used advanced search have probably seen before. It's not all showing up. Let's see if I can move this a little. There we go. So it sort of guides you along. I want to find all of these words. I want to find an exact phrase. Any of these words, so any one of apples, oranges, bananas, none of these words, kiwis, date range, all sorts of different language, region, file type, all those different options. You can also type right into your search box certain limits that will do the same thing. So that's what I'm going to show you. Some of them you might have done. Has anyone done a search? Oops. Where did I just go? Okay. Has anyone done a search limiting to site.edu, for example, or site.gov? You can limit all your results just to educational websites or just to government websites. I'm going to do a couple examples. If I wanted to search, for example, on college test scores, and what I'm interested in is how are college students doing on their tests for their classes. What am I getting? Mostly SATs, tests to get into college, so it's not really relevant to what I want. I have over 66 million results, and they're not what I really want. So there are ways that I can narrow that down to specifically what I want. And so I'm going to say I'm interested in words that college and words that have the same meaning. So it might be university, might be higher ed. If I put a tilde, the little squiggly line in front of college, it will get different words that are synonyms for college. I'm also, just for good measure, going to put test scores in quotation marks. That's going to find both of those words together in order. And I'm going to say I don't want SATs. So I'm going to put a minus in front of the SATs. And I also want things only from the last few years. So I'm going to say 2008, 2 dots, to 2012. So that's going to get college, university, higher ed, test scores, but not SATs, during this date range. And so you can see I'm down to 38 million. I still have quite a lot. But I'm finding things that are academic performance index from the California Department of Education, Illinois Interactive Report Card, test scores and trends. Here is something for the ACT. But I'm finding a lot of things that look like they might be more relevant to my search than what I tried the first time around. And I can refine that even further. I can say, for example, I'm really interested in information about California, so I'm going to limit it to cite.ca.gov, so California government websites. And now if I look at it, I'm getting even closer to what I really wanted in the first place. And I only have 14,000 results, so it's much more targeted list.
I put the quotation on test scores?
Test scores, that's just so I get those two words together. This is really an example. I might not, it might not be as valuable if I'm just using two words. If I were searching for the entire title of an article, for example, that I heard about, and I want to see if I can find it online somewhere, putting the entire title in quotation marks is going to get only websites that have that specific unique title. So it's going to weed out a whole bunch of stuff that just has those individual words. Does that make sense?
Outside of articles?
It'll find that for any kind of source. It'll just, all it does is find those words in a sequence, all in order, instead of finding them separately.
Okay.
Sure. Any questions on what I just did? Okay, another thing I can do is I can search by file type. So I know that often reports that have the kind of information that I want may be in PDF format. So I'm going to say file type PDF, and I think I need to do a colon. And let's say I want, at this point I want reports on student success. And actually let me back up for a second and do an example. If I just search on student success, I've got 27 million. That's really interesting. That's a different number from what I came up with last time I tried. Google's constantly changing. But let's say I want just a PDF, so file type PDF, and I want any kind of student. So I'm going to put an asterisk in front of student, so it might find college student, high school student, university student, different words that are related to that, always with the word student, but there might be a certain kind of qualifier for student in front of it. And then I'm going to say in the title of this PDF, I want the word success. So I don't just want the word success somewhere in this whole document. I want it in the title of the document. So I've narrowed it down from, what were we at, 27 million to 696,000. And if you look at the title, Student Success in Higher Education, What Matters to Student Success, I'm getting a lot more relevant results than what I found just searching student success without any of these limiters. Does that make sense?
The asterisk will mean anything then? Is it a wild card?
It's a wild card, yeah, it's a wild, the asterisk is a wild card character, so it will find any word as a prefix to student in this situation.
So just to the prefix, any word you can.
So I'm going to turn it over to Molly. There were a couple other things that I was maybe going to show you, but I think we'll see if we have time for the public data later. All right,
Okay.
take it away.
Great, so I'm going to start again just from Google search home screen, and we're going to show you a couple specialized searches that you can do. So I'm going to start with the word bird. And if you'll notice on the left, we have a lot of different limiters, so options that Google's provided for different types of searches to do. So I'll show you quickly the images search. I hope that you've used this before. If not, it's a great place to look for images. The first thing to notice is that Google provides you with some related searches: Big Bird, Larry Bird, bird flying. Suggestions if you wanted to explore a little. If you weren't sure what you were looking for, Google's trying to help. With image searches, there's another nice feature, especially if you are working with kids and you want to turn on the safe search mode. You can turn that on so that Google will help filter out things that you might not want younger eyes to see. You can also turn it off if you want, but the default is for it to be at a moderate setting. And so with images, I'll just shrink this menu down. There's a couple really neat things you can do. I think bird is a good example with this. So we can limit by color. So we're just going to get red birds. Yep. And it's fascinating to watch how your results change. Not as many purple birds in the wild, I guess, so a lot more drawings. If we stick with red bird, we can look by subject, and Google will break it down for you: eagle bird, parrot bird, duck bird. And they're all still kind of red. Hawk bird, there's Tony Hawk. Okay, interesting. Let's take that off, go back to all results. So you just kind of play with the limiters on the left. You can also find images by size: large, medium, an icon. You can say, I really just want to find something that's 350 by 350 pixels. I have a very specific thing in mind. So then we're narrowing down even further. Okay, and you can kind of get rid of the limiters that you've used by using that X at the top. And then the last thing you can do is also by type of image. So I want a line drawing of a bird. And I know, it's awesome. I want it to be blue. And yeah, so you get all kinds of interesting results that way. So that's a lot of fun.
Always there, you just got to keep.
Yeah, you just kind of explore and poke around and see what comes up. So another specialized search that I like, or that I think is useful, is the video search. It's also, again, on the right, little limiter. So I want to find videos of Simon and Garfunkel. We get the left. I'm sorry. Thank you. Limiters are always on the left. And let's say I have 20 minutes before class or work, and so I want to find a long video. So you can limit by length. You can find a good 20-minute long or more concert of Simon and Garfunkel singing. Maybe I'm interested only in most of the results you see are YouTube videos, but they have an option to limit by the source of the video. So let's say you wanted to find videos that were on Amazon.com and get rid of all the YouTube videos. You could do that by using those. And that you can't customize this yourself. Google provides those for you, but like Ellen showed you, while we're in the video search, we could do Simon and Garfunkel site YouTube.com. And that'll search. And I'm still at the 20-minute long videos, so I'm not finding as many. Or actually, I think I'm a little messed up here. But anyway, that's just another thing to integrate into the video search. Any questions about that? Image or video searching? Okay. Another really great one that I'd like to show you is using Google News to find news articles. So I'm interested in what's going on in Syria. I'm going to look on the left. I'm going to click News. And what I really like about this is the way they provide kind of related articles for a specific title. So if something strikes you, you can say, okay, yeah, I'm interested in the UN envoy. I'm going to look at what other articles are related to that from other sources. And they break it down pretty nicely. How long ago it was posted, what the source is right below the title, and even a little timeline here of sources that are covering stories on that topic. So it's really interesting to see, kind of track news events. Another great thing that you can do with news articles is you can limit by date. So I just learned this while I was preparing for this session, but if we give a custom range, let's say we're doing research on Syria in the 1950s or something, you can take a look at what is out there. So I'm going to limit for the whole range of that decade, 1959 for Syria. And we're going to get some things from the 50s, the newspapers. So here's something from the Miami News. If you open that up, these are, I believe, things that have been digitized from Google or from somebody at any rate. So there's a great wealth of historical information that you can find using Google's news. It's Google does the digitization, yeah. So it's a wonderful resource, especially for students if you're encouraging them to use primary sources, letting them explore Google and customizing the date range for news articles as well.
So would it just be newspapers from past things? You wouldn't get articles from books?
Probably not. I think when you're in the news limit, when you're limiting your search to news, it's mostly restricting it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
never
from
perfect,
news.
but yeah, that's the main one. Okay, any questions about that? We're getting down to it. Ellen, do you have a lot more things we could say? Do you have a preference for which one?
I think the trends is good because that also
Okay.
shows some of the data
Yep.
and maybe something about Google Scholar.
Okay. So we've been mostly showing you what you can do from the main search box. If you look at the top of any Google search screen, you're going to see a list for more tools. So if you click onto the even more, they list dozens of different types of tools that you can play around with. They're all worthwhile, I'm sure, in some context. So we've been showing you some of the specialized searches with images and things, but encourage you to explore these on your own and use them to your advantage. Google Trends is really interesting to try out. It's kind of like a little like news, but it'll give you kind of visually a representation of how popular that topic has been in internet searches during a particular time. So you'll notice I searched Tunisia the beginning of 2011. There's a huge spike in interest on that topic. What is also interesting to me is I don't know what happened in June of 2006. That's kind of funny. So I'm going to go back to my news search. I'm going to go looking for Tunisia again. And then what suggestions do you have? What should I do to find out what happened in 2006? Yeah, so we'll do. And it looks like Tunisia was in the World Cup in 2006 and played Spain. So that gives you a clue as to why that search was more interesting at that time. You can actually export the data from this if you want to. You can do that. Where is it? I'm going to take the time, but anyway, it's not important. But there are just some great kind of things to learn with that. The other one that we would like to show you is Google Scholar. And how many of you used Google Scholar before? One? Two? Okay, super. So the gentleman that works here that does ILL really encouraged me to remind you that Google Scholar is a great place to look. If you couldn't find an article in the library's database, you never know if it's maybe freely available on the web. So like Ellen was saying, use quotation marks for an exact article that you found, and you can search for it in Google Scholar and see if it's out there available. I'm going to try sample search for climate change impact in California, just to show you what kinds of things you get. So we're getting articles, titles are listed, the authors, the source, the year. Often what you'll find is you'll be led to places where you're asked to pay for an article. So just encourage you to remember the library. If you find something, you can check kind of do the reverse and check whether we have access to it, or we can get it for you through interlibrary loan. This is a great resource to use, especially because Google has a pretty convenient little cited by link under each article. So this article has been cited by 400 other articles. So I can open that up and say, okay, what are the other related articles on that topic, and kind of track some of the sharing that scholars are doing with one another that way. Right. And often you'll find just a PDF available with an article from there. I think, could I do the Gmail?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, so maybe lastly, or we'll see how you guys are feeling, but I'm gonna log into my pipeline, just kind of a little taste to encourage you to explore some of these. Because we're moving to Gmail for campus mail, there's some really neat things you can do to search your email. I find sorting email to be a bore, so I don't like to do it. So what I would rather do is I want to know, okay, I know Kenley sent me an email and he attached a document. I can't remember what it was about, but I know it was important. So I'm going to do from Kenley. Okay, get all the emails from Kenley, and then I'm going to say has attachment. And now I'm going to get all the emails from Kenley that have attachments in them. I can do, can find all the emails that I sent to Ellen. I was interested in that.
I actually don't sort any of my mail. Just use the search box.
Yeah, it's great. I could say, I have 5 unread messages in my inbox, and maybe they're all hiding on the 4th and 10th pages, right? So I want to say is unread in inbox. And then it's just going to pull up only the unread messages that are in my inbox. I could say is unread in all mail. I don't know if mine is going to look different. In case you've filtered some out that aren't in your inbox. I don't think I've done that. But you can find all the unread messages that you have.
Search your trash can.
Oh, okay. You mean unread messages in my trash? Is unread in trash. Oh, I didn't read these. I do care about the market. I do. Okay, so this is truly one of my favorite things about Google, I would say. Yeah. Any questions about that? Does anybody have time for any more? Yeah? Time for more? Okay.
Okay, should we do you want to do the public data directory? Or?
I'll let you do it, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
While they're switching over, I would just say that, one thing to be really aware of is that they said it at the beginning, but I should reiterate it. When we do switch to Google Apps as an institution, if you're a student, you're already on it, but as faculty and staff, you're switching to it this year. You're logged in typically to check your mail, so when you do Google search, Google will be keeping that information about your searches as you're logged in. So if you don't want them to, there's a benefit to doing that, but it's going to be a personal decision on whether or not you want to do that. You can actually turn it off in the settings and never keep your search history all.
Okay, so Google has this thing called the public data directory, and I don't remember, I think it's just google.com public data. I think it's public_data. I might be wrong. We'll find it though.
Google.
Yeah, okay, public data. Yeah, that was going to be my next step, was to Google it. So this is so cool if you're a statistics nerd like I am. So I can search in here for population in Argentina. Oh. And that was a bad search. You can tell I didn't practice that one ahead of time because I'm not getting anything. Let's just do population. And it gives me all of these different websites that have population data. And let's say I want the U.S. Census Bureau one. So I'm going to click on their data. And it's showing me the world population data. But then what's really cool is I can choose all of these different ways to manipulate the data on the left. Oh, and my browser's not showing. There we go. So I can say I'm interested in the population of people 65, oh, and they don't have information on that. Let's say 25. All right, so clearly this was not a good data set because I'm not getting enough information. So we're just going to clear that age limit. We'll limit in a different way. Maybe we're interested in comparing the increase in the world population to the increase in the population in Angola or wherever. So you can build a graph according to just the information that you want from these different data sets that are available on the internet.
They're just
What-
the same.
What's that?
You click on China.
Sure. Oh, I'm in Africa, thank you. I do know where China is. China. Interesting. So we can do all different kinds of comparisons. And of course, you know, the reason we weren't getting anything for different ages is that's the limit of the data set. It doesn't have that. So sometimes you'll have to play around with your original results list. Let me just backtrack to that for a moment. And, you know, maybe try a different data set. But it's just a great tool for if you want to put together a graph to use in a presentation, either as a student or a faculty member. It's a great place to start.
Are these pre-existing graphs, I mean, images, or are they putting the data together and throwing a chart up there for what you want?
They're putting the data together and throwing the chart up there for what you want, based on the data set that they're pulling off some other website.
Very cool.
So, yeah, isn't it?
And then if you wanted to maybe insert that in a document, is that easy?
You know, I haven't tried that, but let's try. It looks like with my data sets, okay, so you can upload a data set, that's cool. Let's go and say we want stuff from the World Bank. So I'm going to click on the World Bank population one. This probably gives me a lot more information than the U.S. Census one. So children out of school. Nope, it's not giving me what I wanted. Let's just go back to... Okay, so here's one. I honestly haven't played with it that much, so I'd have to explore to see what we can do. It looks like you can make all sorts of different kinds. Oh, I can turn it into...
You can make the axes linear or log. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You can do all sorts of stuff, but what I don't know is if you can export it. You could certainly, at the very least, you could take a screenshot of it and copy it as an image. We'd have to play around a little more to see how we might be able to export it. Oh, and then it's also giving you all of these different points.
You just grab the link and then it's live.
Just, yeah,
Over on the right there. There.
yep.
You just grab the link and you can also embed that into the website.
Oh, there we go.
So you can
Embedded
grab
into
it.
a website. Yep. So that's the public data. Is there anything else? How about recipes?
Yeah, we did.
Is anyone hungry? I'm hungry. Okay.
The tilde is to get similar terms. Yeah,
So recipes is another specialized search, which is available on the left. It's not immediate. You can't see it immediately, so you have to open up the More menu. And I used Apple because, of course, what we get mostly is Apple, the company. But if we are looking for Apple recipes, we can go ahead and click on recipes. And then what I love is ingredients. Yes to caramel? Yeah? Yeah? Maybe? Okay. Okay, definitely. And I think we need some dough. Yeah. Dough and caramel for sure. Can it be less than 100 calories? I am not sure. Let's try.
Why bother?
less than 500, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe. So that's just a great, when you're at home, I have kale in my fridge. I have some prosciutto. What can I make? Maybe you want to find recipes that take less than 15 minutes because we're all busy, right? So it's just a really great way to play around. Oh no, nothing with caramel apples and
Maybe
dough.
there's something at the Apple Store.
Yeah. So that's a really fun one. Go home tonight and make yourself something nice for dinner.
I'll show one of the other advanced search tricks. Now that we're on apples, let's say I'm going to look for apples, oranges, bananas. Oops, I need to get back to everything. Okay, so I've got 9 million results that are looking for all three of those things. If I use a vertical, what is this character called? The vertical slash or whatever. That's an OR. So it'll find, in this case now, 8 billion results. Anything with apple or orange or banana. So that's a great demonstration of the dramatic difference between those two searches. We could go back and forth all day. Almond bars? Omni? The Omni bar? No, I don't.
Yeah, so if you use Chrome, you don't need to go to google.com. You just type it in the search.
Oh, yes, I do know that. I just didn't know that's what it was called. How many of you use Chrome already? Just a couple. So in Chrome, I can type my search up here where the URL is.
So Chrome is a search engine that you can even use on, or a browser that you can use on PCs as well?
Any computer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's my same search, and I just typed it up there, or marshmallow. So I do that all the time. I didn't even know what it was called, Kenley, because I use it so often. I never needed to know. Yeah. Marshmallow recipes.
It's a line, a vertical line.
It's shift and left-facing. It's above the left-facing slash. It's a shift and a slash. You'll find it's above the return key on the keyboard. Oops.
Anything with all three?
So it's or. So you could say horse or pony if you weren't sure which word was going to be used.
So everything on that, everything on one.
Or,
And combination.
In the specialized searches.
so that gives you more results that way, for sure.
Are there any?
They're specialized.
Yeah, the ads disappear on the specialized searches.
Oh yeah. Although we had Apple show up on the recipe, the Apple Store, show up on
Maybe
the.
nobody's bought marshmallow.
No one's selling it. Yeah, let's try that again. See if we get Apple again.
You use the colon in a lot of different.
Oh, it's not showing up now. Maybe if I do just one apple. Yeah, there we go. And a recipe with one apple from the Apple Store. Any other questions? Do you have one?
No, this only works on Chrome, or does it work on the?
All of the search strategies that we've shown work wherever you find Google, so whatever browser. What works only on Chrome, there's a couple things, actually. The Chrome has the incognito window. That's something so that you don't have your search history for that search tracked. That's
Firefox has it too.
Oh, Firefox has it too, okay.
It's not called that.
It's, yeah. What's it called in Firefox?
Private browsing.
Private browsing, incognito window, same thing. But what Chrome has that I think is unique to Chrome is if you type into the URL space, type your search, it will search Google. Yeah, some other browsers, like Firefox, if we open up Firefox, will have a search bar up to at the right of the address bar, and you can choose, like in this case, this one does search Google. You can choose which search engine you want it to search.
You can do that with the Omnibar too.
I did not know that either. You can do it with the Omnibar. So, but I just find it easier to remember. I find if I go and use Firefox, I'm always trying to type my search into the address bar instead, because I'm so used to Chrome.
And one thing that I do a lot, just to reiterate the Omnibar, is I will go sbcc.edu : Career Center. And so you can search a site, even if I spell it wrong. Sorry, Career Center.
There were
Yeah.
2 R's instead of 2 E's.
Yeah. So then you can, with that Omnibar, say, I know I want to find something on SBCC's site, type the site, : and then the search terms that you want to use. Yeah.
And you had a colon after is also, right? It's is colon.
Yeah,
That's
for the
in the
Gmail.
mail, in
Yeah.
Gmail.
Yeah, it's on there.
Get that all?
Any other questions for us?
Shopping?
For shopping?
Any
There,
tips on
shopping is a specialized search as well. So on the left, that's an option. We're still askew here, but
oh yeah, I have one other Easter egg to show at the end.
but yeah, you can use the shopping, and you'll get images, prices, and then the place where you can purchase. And then also a little nearby. Oh, Macy's, that sounds good. Where can I find stores? It'll take you to nearby stores. Here.
Put in Jeffrey Campbell, Oxford.
For products. Like that? I forgot the P. Campbell?
Spelled it right.
Did you read, they know what you're after.
Yeah.
Do those look nice
Anywhere.
to
I
you?
want that white one.
This white one? At
That's
Nordstrom?
really cute.
At
No,
Nordstrom?
they're all sold out in
Oh,
my size.
shoot. Well, lots of options.
Such a popular site.
So an Easter egg to leave you
Yeah,
with?
one other thing that I didn't mention, well, actually it's sort of two things. Google also has a voice search, this little microphone. Has anyone used that? That's really great if you're, I wouldn't recommend doing it while you're driving anyway, but if you don't want to be using your hands to search, you can do it with the voice. And also, I didn't mention that usually search engines do not respond well to natural language. So if I ask the search engine a question, it's not going to give me as good results as if I take the key words, the most meaningful words from that question and type my search. But this is an exception. Any Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fans? Yeah. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything?
42.
That's an Easter egg because it shows up in the calculator. So I can tell most of you do not know this.
to get that.
You have to know the book to appreciate this, but that's another.
That was awesome.
Thanks for
All right,
coming,
thanks
everyone.
for coming.
That was just fascinating, thank you.
Sure thing.